Aloha and welcome, caregivers. I'm Savy Makalena, your host. It's the Caring Caregiver Show. And for some reason, it looks like let's just click that and see what happens. For some reason, one of our streams is not going live. I don't know why, but that's okay. Oh, well, we'll just miss that one this time. And gosh, we'll figure it out next time. But that's okay. We're still streaming live on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 platforms. That's more than enough. If you can't find it where you normally see it, go to one of the other platforms. Check out one of the other Facebook pages. Check out our YouTube channels, either the Gimme a Break or the Caring Caregiver Show YouTube channels, and also go to LinkedIn where we're live. So if you're missing it and you're going, where is it? Doggone it. Somebody help them. Here we are. We are live. We are still live right now. Welcome. And like I said, we're on the Caring Caregiver Show. I am the founder of Gimme a Break, which is a nonprofit organization that cares for caregivers. And we're here to bring back the joy of caregiving. So the Caring Caregiver Show really is part of that. We want to connect you with the resources that you need in order to get through your day. And that's what we do each week, is connect you with the resources. A lot of people say to me, but Savy, why live? Why can't you just do some recorded, interviews with people and put it up on the Facebook and put it on YouTube channel and people can watch it whenever they want? Well, the reason why is because I want you to know that the person you're talking to is authentic. We want to hear their caregiver story. I want you to hear that they get you. I wish I had this when I was going through my caregiving, especially with my mother and her dementia. I didn't have time to go finding people. So if you catch this show and you see somebody and you actually connect with them, well, more than likely, you'll see that this is the person that can help you and support you through your time. So that's why we do it. And that's why I do it live. I can say whatever I want. And I do, especially if it's going to help a caregiver anywhere, somewhere in the world. All right. So we're here to bring you information. You can get more information from our website as well. I know you're going through a lot and I know it's hard and I know it's frustrating. So we do offer you as well our support sessions, and you can check out our support sessions and they're online. You don't have to go in person. You don't have to be here in Hawaii. You can be anywhere if you can handle the time difference, and just log on to a Zoom and join a community of caregivers just like you. Every Tuesday evening for the past 5 years at 8 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time, we're here and you can join in. No fees, no charges. It's free. It's online. It's there for you. Any caregiver, anywhere. All right. So join us. And right now we're actually talking about your care receiving plan. So we're coming up on next week doing your insurance plan. We just talked about the estate plan, and that was a big one. I had to review it last night. In fact, I'll review it again if we need to, but we'll be talking about your insurance plan. So ironically, today we have somebody we're going to talk to about some of that will help give you some information. But we're here to create a positive, safe space for you. That's what the sessions are all about. It's your support. Connect with a community of caregivers just like you. No professionals. Nobody here is a professional, just me and a bunch of caregivers just like you. All right. So join us anytime. That's Tuesday evenings at 8 p.m. And you guys know I do all of my own IT, so I'm bouncing around. Okay. And so remembering that the Caring Caregiver Show is here, brought to you by Gimme a Break, which is our nonprofit organization, of course. And you also know that I publish a magazine called Giver's Guides, which is our online magazine that's a caregiver's guides to caregiving. It's written for caregivers by caregivers from a caregiver's point of view. There we go. And it's an online magazine. So you look at it, it's a little flip book that you look at online on any device. I've done it on my phone and read an article myself. Just the other day, it was cancer treatment day for my other half. And we do that about every couple of months. And I sat there for about an hour. So I went on my phone and I thought, I think I'm going to read that article that I wanted to get back to. And I read that article right when I was sitting there in the doctor's office on my phone. You can do it too. The cool thing is the pages actually make that flipping sound. So for those of you who are book people, I know you like the pages. You'll still hear that flip when you flip pages, but you can get some encouragement, motivation. Here's a sneaky peeky right now at our July issue. Our July issue actually features one of our trusted partners who does Medicare and Medicaid. But you know, there's great articles like, "Is your life a balancing act?" Well, yeah, I'm a caregiver, right? What about craving comfort foods? How do you be nutritional even though you're caregiving? 7 tips for sandwich caregivers. We're celebrating Sandwich Caregiver Month. So are you a sandwich caregiver? Well, maybe you don't know what that is. Well, think of a sandwich. So you're sandwiched in between 2 generations. Maybe you got your own kids, but you're still taking care of your grandparents. Or something happened with your parents and you've got your other children that you're taking care of, or your spouse and your children, and you're sandwiched between 2 generations of caregiving. That's a lot. It's a lot to deal with, and it's becoming more and more prominent that we see a lot of different sandwich caregivers. So you have your own month now. And so we're celebrating that. A lot of great our articles are really directed at sandwich caregivers for the month of July. Okay, and we take that off the screen. So with that, please get your subscription. You can go on to our website and know that any $25 or more donation to Give Me a Break will get you automatically a Mahalo gift. And that Mahalo gift is a 1-year, 12 issues subscription of the magazine for you. So check it out. Go to gab808.org and you can get subscribed today. Just make a donation. You don't even have to go through the subscription process. Okay. Whew. Well, this season, thanks to Andy Pierce, the founder of iBOUNCE, we've been doing our motivational moments, and boy, have they been amazing, because you can see how motivated I am. And I'm so happy to have Andy here today live. Hi, Andy. How are you?
Hey, happy to be here.
Oh, I'm so excited to see what motivation you have for us today. So I am turning the screen over to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, so motivation. Doesn't it seem like sometimes we have it and sometimes we don't? Right? Sometimes you do it and it just takes grit. And that's how life kind of tends to be, where you just power through it. Something I've learned, I achieved my master's degree in sport and performance psychology and resiliency. And I've been working in the field for about 10 years now, which many of you know. But I've learned that we have a lot more control than we realize. Meaning, like, so many of us, when we experience different activating events that we experience, sometimes it's so easy to go down the path of negativity. Sometimes it's so easy to just see the negative things in our life. But what's powerful is that we can actually change that. So for most of us, our natural reaction to many situations is to see the negative in a situation, especially the ones that are more difficult or more challenging. But what I've learned is that we can change the narrative. We can change the way that we see the world. And when we do that, we can find a lot more happiness and peace, and things don't get to us nearly as much. In fact, one of the key components to overcoming challenges quickly and overcoming challenges in an effective way is by being flexible in the way that we think. So when things don't go as planned, we're able to think flexibly. We're able to see, like, hey, you know what? That didn't go as planned, but I'm going to continue moving forward. So what you can do is decide how you want to feel for a situation, or when a situation that you know might happen in the future, when it happens, how do I want to react in that situation? So what you're doing is you're planning how to act when a situation happens. And this becomes extremely, extremely valuable, because what will happen is, let's say something bad, or maybe not bad, but maybe something difficult or some sort of challenge you know is going to happen in the future. Maybe one of the people that you're working with is having a really hard day. And usually when they have a hard day, sometimes we then have a hard day, right? So let's say that that's going to happen in the future. Now, what you can do is plan how to think for that situation when it happens, so you will know how to respond in an effective way before it even happens. And we can plan to find peace or happiness in those moments, even though they're difficult, because we're prepared for it mentally. So that's the skill, is pre-plan the way that you're thinking for a difficult situation. And of course, when you do that, you will find that you will be so much more prepared because you already know how to act for that situation. And that's where the power in this skill is. That's where the power is we know how to act before it even happens. So we can predetermine how we want to feel for a situation that might have otherwise been difficult. So this idea kind of reminds me of like the idea of a pet peeve. And what I like to call pet peeves are pre-planned reasons to get angry, right? If you think about it, a pet peeve is something that upsets you, and it's something that bothers you, and you're pre-planning yourself to get upset. So what you can do is the opposite. Pre-plan yourself to be okay. Pre-plan yourself to be happy, right? Pre-plan yourself to find joy even in a situation that is difficult. I've found that the more I dislike a situation, the more I dislike it. So it's almost like exponential. It's like, oh, I don't like it when that thing happens. Then when that thing happens, it makes it even worse. Where is there might be a situation where you're like, hey, I know this might happen. I know it's going to be difficult, but guess what? I know I can get through it and everything will be okay. And just that mindset becomes really powerful. So we can pre-plan how we want to think. We can pre-plan how we want to feel. And it works. Try it. It's incredible. It's one of my favorite skills, and one of my favorite things to do is pre-plan how I want to think, especially for situations that I might be dreading otherwise. And that's the trick. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Andy. That is so awesome. I love that. I mean, whoever thinks to pre-plan our emotions.
Right?
But I know, right? So I think my pet peeve is now going to be pet peeves. But
Yes, that's mine. That's my pet peeve. It's when I see people have pet peeves. No, I mean it's the
oh, I
same
love
thing,
it.
right?
Right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and a positive headspace will do you wonders. So thank you for that motivation and for that positivity. Really appreciate it. Can't wait for next week. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.
All
Have a
right.
very
Thank you so much.
positive day.
Yeah. Thank you.
Aloha, Andy.
Aloha.
Yeah, I totally agree. You know, it's really funny. I was just in a discussion with a caregiver about that, and we were talking about how you can get so frustrated in the car, especially when you have somebody you're caring for, and especially with someone with dementia. You know, it's really tough because you can't be distracted. You're driving. You have to be focused on what you're doing, and you can't be focused on someone with dementia who needs attention, or who can't remember things, or who is not always going to be, who's very active and not always going to be passively sitting there enjoying the ride. So you really have to pre-plan for that. How do you do that? What can you do? We even talked about possibly having an iPad that plays their favorite songs or movies, or playing music and singing, and ways that they can be occupied so that you won't be distracted. So pre-planning is a really big one for any caregiver. I love that share. Thank you so much, Andy. And you can get in touch with Andy at iBOUNCEUP.org. Just contact him. If you need more than this motivation, and I think we all do, please let him know. He'd be more than happy to talk with you and share some of the things that he does. He does group presentations as well. iBOUNCEUP.org. Check it out. Thanks again. And we look forward to next week. I'm feeling so motivated. And I'll tell you, it's really important to be motivated when you have to deal with so many things as a caregiver, because you don't think about all of those things. And wow, if I knew what I know now is always what you say. And as I had mentioned earlier, one of the things that we're talking about is your care receiving plan. And how are you going to be prepared or plan ahead? How do you pre-plan for your care when you're the one that needs somebody taking care of you? And I think one of the most important things is what we're going to be discussing as well next week in our session is long-term care insurance. And most people don't think about it. My parents didn't. And I'll tell you, I wish they had. I wish they knew about it. They didn't. And so it became a very, very difficult situation to where I'm still dealing with my mom. So my guest today can help us to navigate long-term care insurance. And I want to get right to it and welcome Raymond Lavine. Welcome, Raymond. There you are. Hi, welcome to the show. Aloha.
Aloha to you. We've had actually guests that have stayed from Hawaii, but this is wonderful. I have not been a guest in Hawaii from somebody from Hawaii. So this is something new for me. So this is wonderful that I'm talking to somebody in Hawaii.
Yeah, how's that? Where are you located in the world?
I'm located in Gig Harbor, Washington. So we're just 5 hours east of you. And it's a lovely day. It's 71 degrees here in Gig Harbor. We do not suffer.
Wonderful. Well, I'll tell you, that's the beauty of the internet that I love in this generation, that I love that we can actually connect anywhere in the world. And you're right here in my living room now in Hawaii. So enjoy the balmy breezes that we have as well. And of course, I get to enjoy what's there with you in Washington, and we can connect anywhere. But I know I always ask my guests to share their caregiving stories. So please share your caregiving story with our caregivers.
Well, there are a number of ways of how I can, talk about it. And one of the things that I want to bring to your audience, your the people who listen to your podcast is in anything that I say, people are going to say, well, Raymond Lavine, he's a salesman, he's a long-term care salesman. He wants to sell me a long-term care plan. And what I want to get people to comprehend is it's not the plan. It's not all, the guests you have that talk about caregiving. There are a number of things that, are important about, caregiving. Is that I use several terms. One is that what I do is I provide a warranty on people that will provide money so that when they need caregiving, whenever it may be, whether you're younger, whatever the issue may be, it's about money. And so you were talking about, people haven't thought about it. Well, my apologies.
It's okay. You're in demand.
I know, but I'm going to turn my phone off. Hold on. My apologies for that. Let me get you back. Oh, shoot. My apologies for that. I thought I had my phone off, but it's what they say, when you're in the movies or in live theaters, to turn your phone off. And my apologies for that. But anyway, what I was talking is that a lot of us are unconscious about, when we think about caregiving, and I don't mean that in a pejorative way. It's just we're unconscious about a lot of things till something happens.
Right.
The other thing that is that there are two things that I think are important when we think about caregiving. One is I never thought about it that way, or now I understand what this is about. And these are things you had in your introduction, and you talk about caregiving. It's about, what is this about? And is it important for me to plan? And I also, I've been thinking about this for a long time. And I don't think in the early years when I was in long-term care business that I thought about it is that when we think about caregiving, we either wait till something happens and then we get ourselves overwhelmed. It's what's called the paradox of choice. And we just overwhelm ourselves rather than, people know more about their sporting events and what to do, or planning for their vacation, than when they think about, things that, not only will happen, but may be a lot longer and a lot more expensive. But getting back to your original question about, caregiving, a lot of people that are, sell long-term care insurance or, offer long-term care insurance, however you want to, use the term, is that most of us have had, some exposure to caregiving. I've had it with, my wife's had it with her family. I've had it with my parents, but indirectly, only because my parents actually planned in advance in their own way of, my father especially had 3 times extended long-term care situation, but he always came back until the last time. And my mother, my parents were lawyers, and they were financially well off and they were educated, but they weren't insurance buyers. I mean, other than what they needed to own. They didn't own a lot of life insurance if they owned any. They had the health and the business insurance and all that stuff. But it was only till later on when my father was in, his last issue, and he had heart disease and was dying. It took him 2.5 years to die, but it was a lot of months of, my mother taking care of that. They then thought about long-term care insurance. My mother was able to get it even in her early 70s, but she was in good health, other than the premiums weren't inexpensive. She said, I need to do this. This is expensive. But my mother, being the person she is, she was a good business person. She needed her insurance for 18 years. She died at 103 a couple of years ago.
Wow.
So whatever she put in, she got more back. And this other thing in this caregiving is that one of the, if you want to call it objections, I don't think it's I think it's, I'll call it denial, or it's, if I own it, I may own it a long time. Do I really want to pay premiums, 20 years or 15 or 25 years? And I really want to pay the premiums. The answer is yes, because, I was thinking, people will spend $500 to $800 a month for an automobile where the tires eventually are going to go flat. Or
a depreciating asset.
Yeah, it's a depreciating asset, but you want it because, you want the car. And you want
the car.
Exactly, or the appliances, or and there's nothing, it's Dave Ramsey or some of these other people say, well, look, then buy a previously owned. But the reason you want to think about it, or you want to have a plan, is when you're in a caregiving situation. I'm sure you've had many guests. It's you feel overwhelmed. You're not sure what to do. The internet is going to give you advice. Maybe it's good advice, maybe it isn't. You're going to have friends and family that they're all going to give you advice and tell you what to do. And I'll tell you the thing that is always this comes into the equation, no matter what. It's money, money. It's money, dollars. People are saying because if family members are involved in caregiving, it's money. You really think that somebody that has a career or a career path, if they have to give that up, you're going to tell me that there isn't a cost to that? I mean, it's impossible. There's a monetary, there's an emotional, and there's a physical cost. Maybe there are other things to it, but there is a cost to all of this. And my mother had a thriving practice, and periodically she had to give it up. curtail her practice in order to take care of my father. Now they had a good, they had a distinctive relationship. I mean, it was really good. And if you're, a child and you see this kind of thing, it gives you good tools of how to be, a better person, a better husband, a better, empathetic, because they worked well together. They were a team. I mean, they were really a good team. And when my father died, my mother was not happy about this. It wasn't, hey, he was, a miserable person, or he was this or that. He was actually, he was an enjoyable person. He was interested in things. He was enthusiastic, and they had actually different personalities, but it worked well together. They worked well together, and so she was not happy about it. But anyway, so she lived, another, another, almost 30 years
Wow.
after. But, she also had her own life. And the reason she was able to, first of all, she was financially, well, she wasn't just rich. She was really, she was affluent. She had the money to do it, but she also thought owning a long-term care plan. And I asked her once, I said, she's an estate planning attorney. And I said, well, look, you're making over $1 million a year. Why did you own long-term care insurance? She had, I thought, the best answer that I've ever heard. And this is somebody that's not an insurance buyer, and somebody that, certainly had, the means. So the people say, well, I'll pay for it myself, or, a self-funder. Is that she says, nobody has that much money to pay for lifestyle and your care.
Yeah. Well, and I'll tell you to not interrupt so much, but I'll tell you that the right now, the current statistic nationwide is 70% of caregivers lose their jobs. They either have to quit or are terminated from their job due to the weight and the burden of caregiving. Right. So they go from calm to chaos, and now they're in chaos, and they're not thinking about long-term care insurance, or the one they're caring for doesn't have it. And the money is going down, 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 down. Even if you have a savings, it's going down, down, down. And we'll sell something. We'll sell the cars. We'll sell the house. We'll start selling. And next thing you know, there's no money. And it happens over and over. I hear the story all the time. Mm-hmm. And whether you have the money or don't have the money, I love what your mother said, because it's not going to last. Nothing lasts, and you don't know what kind of care could come into place, right? Your mother may have been very fortunate, and I don't know, that she may have her care stayed about the same. But then others I've seen where the dementia now gets worse and they have to go into 24-hour care, or they have a fall and now there's medical bills to pay. And so care is something that we don't all think that could have a really high ticket on it. And it might not be just allotting a certain amount for every month. There could be all kinds of things more important than car insurance. You need long-term care insurance. And you don't know how long you're going to be alive. Your mother lived to 103. My grandmother, 104. She was a week before her 105th birthday.
Yeah.
So, and she had the same dementia as my mother, Lewy body dementia. So you never know what's going to happen in the future. You don't know if you get hit by a bus, but the bottom line is, if you're not insured for that, I think it's kind of insane. But that's my opinion, of course. But I know, because I just went through it with my parents, and they didn't have long-term care insurance. And I'm seeing how that's affecting them. I'm seeing how it's affecting my pocketbook. I'm seeing how it's affecting the care my mother gets, everything. So, yeah.
That's right. But what is also is the people that will say, they have this issue, what they should do. I'll say, well, what are you doing? Well, I'm thinking about it, or what that. There isn't enough where they'll say, if it happened to somebody else, what are you doing about it? And there's always, well, I'll get to it, or I'm really not ready, or if there's something, and I'll say, well, what's your plan? If you're not thinking about what's your plan or what's your vision of what you want your caregiving to do. One of the things, when I have somebody that's new, is I used to have, sort of the old script, and years ago, I got rid of it, is I ask people, what do you want your caregiving to do? That's sometimes my opening question. What do you want your caregiving to do? Or what's your vision if you need a caregiving? What's your vision? And I just stop. I don't, give an opinion, tell me your story. Tell me what it is that, you're thinking about, because to go through objections and trying to overcome it, I'm not really interested in your objections. What I am interested in is being empathetic.
Yeah.
Let me understand what is important to you, not what's important to Raymond Lavine.
I actually like that from your website, because you and to quote your website, it says funding your care services or juggling the responsibilities of a caregiver, thoughtful and well-crafted solutions. I don't know if I've ever heard anyone use that term, thoughtful and well-crafted solutions that meet your needs. And that's, to me, I thought that was, when I read that, was why I said, yes, I want to have you on the show, because you're not just schlepping and selling stuff. You're actually caring about what the needs of this person could potentially be. If you don't have something that is going to meet the needs, then yeah, I understand. I get it. You're right. It's just, you're paying for something you don't even know, but you take the time to craft a solution, right? And to look at and talk with people and help them to find something that really is going to benefit them. And that's what you were just saying, right? What is your vision of your, of your long-term care situation, which is exactly what I'm telling people. Are you even thinking about your care receiving plan? Do you have a plan? Most people don't.
Well, and there are a lot of reasons for it. First of all, I never took a course in high school about caregiving. I never took a course about financial anything.
I learned to make corn chowder, though.
Say again?
Yeah, family cooking we had when I was in school.
Well, actually, I didn't we had sex education. That was about, the only, but they didn't have, but they didn't talk about, how do you buy insurance?
Yeah.
How do you think of, and in college, I never took, I had economics and stuff, but it wasn't how to buy auto insurance or something. I remember after I got out of the Army, my mother, I never wrote a check ever I never had a checking account. So when I got it, my mother had to show me how to open a checking account and how to write a check. I didn't know how to do it. It wasn't that I didn't care. So she
know.
But there are a lot of financial things that I don't want to say illiterate. That's sort of condescending, or it's pejorative, but we just don't have the knowledge about financial planning. And financial, it's a broad term. People call it holistic. I never really cared for that term, but and it also goes to whatever it is you learn, is to do it incrementally. Don't try to do everything. When I talk about finance or estate planning or something, it's like this big term is that, there are a lot of sub parts to it. It's the same with caregiving. It isn't just, caregiving is an overall term, but there are a lot of sub parts to it. Which part do you want to talk about? You want to talk about, you being a caregiver, what that means. You want to talk about the financial part, and there are subsets to that. And it's not complicated. It really is not complicated. What is complicated is what you don't know, or that you have all the parts and you try to put it together all at once. It's just do it incrementally. Then it's not so hard. And you have people that can explain what it's about in terms to say, I'll go back. Now I understand what this is about.
Right.
Not how confused I am, but now I understand, or I never thought about it that way. Because that's the way I'm learning to live my life. I don't have as much time because I'm old, but I do. But when I am learning, I'm learning patience.
Yeah.
And that's hard for me too. Is patience. But I'm learning patiently. Things that I'm learning to say I don't know how to do. But then if I do it, incrementally, it's not so bad. For example, I was talking to. I have some sort of unknown heart issue where it's not beating regularly, but they're asking me, well, do you have, are you feeling this? And I'll say, no, I don't have those symptoms. So, so what I have is a heart monitor, And where I'm getting at it is that to learn how to do it, at first I was impatient. I wasn't happy about this. It was like, how am I going to do that? How do I put it in my wrist? How do I look at it? And then as I did it each day, my mind or my gray cells or my amygdala, whatever it is, was in my brain. It became simpler. It became easier to do, where I could just, strap that thing on, do what I needed to do, and then write down the information. But at first I wasn't happy about it. And then I delayed it, and I was in denial. But then once I learned how to do it, it's like, what's the big deal?
Yeah.
And that's the same with caregiving or having what I think, and I brought this up early, a lot of people don't want to talk to salespeople. They're just not happy about it because they say, well, they're going to try to sell me something that I may or may not want. And the way that I would approach it, because look, I'm a consumer too, and I talk to salespeople, and some I like, some I don't, some I trust, some I don't. Is that you have to, is what are they saying to you? What am I saying to you? And do you feel that I'm understanding what you want, not what Raymond, what you want, and that we begin to have the understanding of what's your vision about caregiving? What do you know about it? Whatever you have, and you don't feel manipulated. But the other thing, this is the bad news, is that the best time to own it is as young as you can be. And if you have if you can pay the premiums, because it's not free. Right. And the other thing, and I'll get political, but I'll get over it, is that social insurance or the social mechanism, the social safety net, is not in good shape. So the way things are designed in America is, if you want to have your caregiving in your home, and you as an American, we always like to, I like to make, my own decisions. I don't want government to tell me what to do. Well, right. I guarantee you, if you don't have the resources and you want to have social services, you're going to do what they tell you to do. And you have to go through, people, companies complain about red tape and bureaucracy. You want to talk about red tape and bureaucracy, try getting Medicaid. Try getting, all whatever social services, and I guarantee you, you're going to have to, fill out forms. You're going to have to qualify, because you may be eligible. I always tell
it's a process. It is a process, and you really get taken down to your core, right? In those, it's like you suddenly feel like, wow, I've done work so hard, I've made it in life, and now all of a sudden you're at the mercy of social services. And I've seen it so many times, been through it. And so, you can't expect to only have that. We come from a generation where no one talked about this, right? No one talked about finance. No one talked about insurance. Nobody talked about it. And I'm hoping now that this next generation does, and embraces these things and sees the importance of being self-sufficient and not depending, because, and like you said, we're not going to get political, but we can see how political change or political leadership can affect all of these different social type of services or other things that people may be relying on. And so if you are at a point in your life where you can change that, by all means, educate yourself and do what you don't know, you don't know. That's right.
That's right. But
yeah,
the thing is this, if we live in a democracy, you have to be involved, and you are involved politically. There is politics, and if you don't believe me, work for a company. You don't think there's politics in a company? Dealing with people, it's negotiate. You don't think there's if you have kids, you don't think your kids are negotiating and being political? They want something, you want something.
Yeah.
It's learning. It's learning the system, or being involved in the system, because whatever it is that you're asked to do, that you might be eligible, but you're not entitled.
Yeah.
And that's something, that's a concept that, that upsets people, but they say, well, I'm entitled, and I say to people, you might be entitled, but or you might be eligible, but you're not entitled.
Correct.
Because there's a process and things that you fill out. Of course, the great painful thing is, have you ever had it where you're filling out forms and then it goes away and it's not saved? So that's how.
Well, you're doing all of that for nothing, right?
Well, you have to start all over again. But it's, as you were saying, it's about the process, and you have to be, and I'll go back to Raymond's thing of learning to be patient, because you have to be patient filling out, which I'm not. I'm not patient filling out forms. Now, one of the things also, if before I forget, is that one of the things that I can offer to your listeners is, if you want, I can send you, and there's no cost to it, where it's it'll let you know, based on your lifestyle, what you think your longevity will be. But there's more. Is it'll also say, based on this, this is what your health care is going to cost. So it'll give you a preview.
It's a gauge, right? Yeah.
So any age, if you got to be honest about it. You can't say, if you're taking 5 drinks a day, but you say you don't, it's going to come out.
If you're smoking, but you say you don't, yes.
That's right. But
change all of those, right? Of course. Yeah. If we had to live our life, and I think there's this movie out there where they wear these bands that show how much time you have left to live. And then when you do certain things, the time goes fast. It eats more time. If we actually had to look at things that we did to ourselves in our bodies, including things like worry and stress and intake, and saw how much time that used up of what we have left, I think people would completely change their view of your care receiving plan and knowing what to plan for in the future. But I think long-term care insurance.
I have a question for you, if I may ask you a question. Is that we're talking about these things, and you understand, and what is it that I can say, or what is it you can say to get people to at least engage in the conversation? How can we get people to have the conversation in order to make an informed decision? I'm not into worrying. If you don't do this, you're going to be broke. If you don't do this, your mother's going to write you a note. It's like the thing. Chris, I remember it used to be, wait till your father comes home.
That's right. Right.
He comes home, and
that's not going to work. Well, Raymond, I think the thing too is that the bottom line is, here's another adage: what have you got to lose, right? And so I think the important thing is that you educate yourself. You have to educate yourself, and don't make a decision without educating yourself. So if you don't have a conversation, then you're eventually going to have to make these decisions uneducated. And you offer a free consultation and a health assessment. Free health assessment as well. So why not have a conversation, get a hold of Raymond, and just get educated. And then if you now know better, and you can make a better decision. Right? It's like no one's telling you must do this. We're saying get educated, right? And that's what a consultation really is. It's an education that everyone needs. And then we talked about that earlier. We said they didn't teach this in school, but we're doing it now. So nothing wrong with getting educated. You might as well get educated. Complete different look at something, right? You can't make a decision on something you don't know, right? Some of the best, like we talked about buying a car. Some of the best cars you can buy are when you've educated yourself on that type of car. Some people just look at a car and go, ooh, shiny, buy it. But you don't look at other things that you should educate yourself on that depreciating asset, right? So take advantage of a free consultation. And also you offer a health assessment for free. In fact, you even offer, I want to take a moment to bring this up because I want to share this, that you have a free online book, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And I want to talk about that real quick because we're running short on time. So let's just talk about that. I have that on the screen right now. And it's Empathy and Understanding in Business. And it's you and Chris Voss. And so just briefly tell us about this book. And why, and this is a free online book as well for you, right?
That's right. Well, Chris Voss was a hostage negotiator for the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation. He was their lead hostage negotiator. And then after he left the FBI, he taught at USC, my school, and Harvard and other schools. And then he started a company called Black Swan Group. And what Black Swan Group teaches is negotiating, which I wish I had learned 50 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, not just, I'm really not just, negotiating, but, how to negotiate. And I like his way of doing it. I mean, there are other companies. There are lots of books about negotiating. So you have to decide, what you like. There's actually another really good book by Charles Duhigg called The Super Negotiators, which is a wonderful book, well worth reading. And there are things in which, I take Black Swan methods, but also Super Communicator. And I do it all the time. Like, my wife will say something, or my daughter, and then I'll summarize. Let me summarize what this is about. So that, they're saying, are we on the same conversation? And if I do that, they'll say, "Yeah, we're on this, we're in the same conversation." So that we can talk about it and negotiate. So myself and a number of other people that we wrote this book about business and empathy, and more, you'll hear it more and more. People are talking about empathy, and what that means is it's not manipulation. People think negotiating is manipulation. It shouldn't be, or if you think it is, then you don't try. I wouldn't negotiate with somebody that I thought was manipulating me. That's not negotiating. Negotiating is about understanding and seeing somebody from their perspective. I don't have to agree with them. I don't even have to like them. But if you're doing it where you're arguing with people, or you're condescending, or you're dismissive, then you're not having a conversation. You're not even negotiating. And so what empathy is about is that I understand what the other person is thinking or feeling.
Right.
And then to say, do we, what is it that we can talk about, or what is it that I understand that I can provide that service to you or product? And do you trust me? If you don't trust me, or you don't think that I'm understanding, go to talk to somebody else, because I'm not your person. You're going to feel manipulated. So that's
I love that. And I love that you put empathy into what you do, because most people will see a negotiation as a close, but you see it as an empathetic way to understand people and then help to educate them. So I greatly appreciate that. And we're running out of time. So your last quick thoughts, a quick sentence or two to just share with the caregivers listening.
What are some of the summary thing is that what's your vision about caregiving? What do you want to accomplish? What do you want it to do? And have the conversation, whether it's with Raymond, Lavine, or your financial advisor, is to talk about, not do I need long-term care benefits? The question is, if I don't have it, what are my options? And so if you don't have a caregiving plan and it's funded, then how are you going to fund the plan? I mean, how are you really going to fund the plan? And the last thing is, don't be unconscious about it. And one final thing is that if you think it's complicated, I guarantee you, because you're going to say it, is that wait till you have a caregiving situation. Wait till you have a health issue, and then then there's a term. It's called crisis.
Yep.
Where I had a heart attack 10 years ago, and I wasn't as well prepared. But I mean, I did. I had my health information and stuff. But these are things that you think aren't going to happen. But when it is, do you have your health insurance card? Do you have the documentation? Do you have an advocate that can help you? Try being in a health situation where you don't have an advocate, and it's not pleasant.
No,
I've been there personally, both ways. But I've been fortunate. My mother was a good advocate for my father. Oh, she's a good advocate. And my wife is as good or better advocate when I've been on the gurney. to help me, because they're asking me questions. What do you think about? I don't know. Ask Barbara. I don't. Don't bother me with this stuff, or what I've on the scale of 1 to 10. I don't know. I don't care about that. I'm miserable. Fix me. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, I'll tell you, thank you, Raymond, because we are out of time. And if you guys can see, Raymond can have a wonderful conversation with you, and he's just filled with education and knowledge and great heart. And so you can get a hold of Raymond Lavine, and he through Lavine LTC Benefits. .com, and it's actually Lavine ITCINS.com, or give him a call 253-275-6091. Thank you so much for sharing with us today. I know we could probably talk for another hour, but I totally enjoyed having you on and seeing insurance from a whole different angle. I really think this is important for our caregivers to see and talk about. Thank you so much, Raymond, and thank you for coming on today. Really
thank you for inviting me as a guest. I've had fun.
Yeah,
I've had fun.
And that's the bottom line, right? We got to keep smiling and laughing and skipping through life. Well, aloha and have a wonderful day today. And I really appreciate it. I hope we keep in touch.
Thank you.
Aloha. Thanks,
Aloha.
Raymond. Okay. And I didn't mention it, Raymond, but you don't have to stay on till the end of the show. You can actually use that little red button to leave the studio anytime you want. So thank you again. So you guys, again, that's Lavine, Lavine, ITCINS.com, or give him a call at 235-275-6091. Wow. What a great talk. And this is what I love about doing it live again. You're hearing it and you're seeing it. And this is a lot of times when you ask someone a question and they answer, or you talk about something, the passion and the truth comes out. We can't script this stuff, folks. So you know that Raymond's somebody who really speaks from experience and heart. And so that's a beautiful thing. You have questions, get a hold of him. You can get a free consultation and free health assessment, as well as that online book, Empathy and Understanding in Business with Raymond Lavine and Chris Voss. So I love that, a negotiator. How cool is that, huh? I think that would have been a really neat occupation to get involved in at one point in life. Anyway, mahalo, Raymond, and the best of you, best wishes to you for the day. Okay, you guys, this show is brought to you by Gimme a Break and Givers Guides Online Magazine. So we've merged now. We're all under one 501c3. Your donations directly pay the bills and keep us going to do what we do. And with your donation of $25 or more, not only is it tax deductible, but you will receive a mahalo gift, a thank you gift of a 1-year, 12-month subscription to Givers Guides Online Magazine. And of course, to celebrate that, we are offering a free pamper kit to the first 25 to donate 25. So the first 25 to donate 25 till the end of this month will receive also an additional mahalo gift of our pamper kit. And our pamper kit is a wonderful little kit of in-home pampering practices that you can do for every caregiver. It makes a nice little gift for a caregiver if you're not. And it just encourages you to practice wellness in moments. Next week is a very special show. We're going to talk about some of our upcoming events and activities and presentations. And I'll be doing a very special giveaway, a lifetime subscription. So you're going to want to tune in. You're going to want to watch us live. And we're going to win live as well. So it's pretty exciting. That's what the Caring Caregiver Show is really all about. You know that. It's about connecting you caregivers to all of us caregivers, to resources and to community. You're not alone. We're out here and we're taking care of one another and we're supporting one another with wellness and survival as our goal. Season 15 is filled with so many of those things. You don't want to miss a single episode. So put a timer in your phone right now to watch us live. And if you miss it, that's okay. You got duties. We get that. You can go into podcast and listen to it on any podcast platform about a week after each show, Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, Google, you know them all. Just search Caring Caregiver Show and go to our website, plop right there on the screen, caringcaregivershow.com, and you can listen to any of our past episodes as well. just whatever you do, caregivers, stay connected. Okay. Follow us on Facebook, go to gab808.org. But in the meantime, remember, breathe. It's all going to be okay. You're going to get through this. We're going to survive it. And here's hoping that you're finding more joy in caregiving every week here on the Caring Caregiver Show. Thanks for tuning in. And please be kind to yourself, and especially to those who care. Aloha, everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. See you all next week.